Jason Davis, Jared Dubois. We are back. It is halftime. USA 2, Scotland 1.
USA 3.
USA 3. What am I missing?
Jeff Cameron scored.
USA 3. That's right.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap.
That was we're live. 201-430-2378 is the phone number. Get your calls in now. I'm sure you people have thoughts. Hit us up on Skype, Best Soccer Show. Twitter account's always rolling, Best Soccer Show. I'm guessing most people are going to be pretty happy. I mean, we're hard fans to make happy, and we always pick out the negatives, and there are certainly a couple of things to pick out from that first half, Jared. But for the most part, that was some pretty exciting soccer. Here we were going, it's defensive, and what are they doing? And look at those three defensive midfielders. Man, they went after it.
Now, what's working right now in this offense is Jose Francisco Torres and Landon Donovan are working.
Well, because it is, right? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think what you get with those three defensive, we think of it as a defensive setup. You've got Adu, Bradley, and Jones in the mix, but what those guys allow them to do is to recover the ball quickly, right? I mean, that's the point.
Not just that, but force turnovers, and I think that's been a big difference as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They are breaking up plays whenever Scotland's gotten the ball, and they haven't had the ball much. I'd love to see a possession stat. I can't imagine it's any less than 60% for the U.S. Anytime Scotland's got the ball, those three guys, their responsibilities for the most part are to go and get the ball back, and that's getting it to Torres, who's getting it out to Donovan, and Donovan.
That's what Klinsmann has talked so much about: is work is hard to win the ball back, as you do to try to keep it. You know, he's always said, I think he's even pointed to Barcelona before as a team that does that, where when they don't have the ball, everything that they're doing is to get the ball back, to start the possession up again. And I think that's something you're seeing with this lineup. But what's really working, and I said before, is the Jose Francisco Torres, Landon Donovan combination, whereas I was worried for a bit because you would notice, and this happened through the whole half, where Bradley, Adu, and Jones are playing very linear, very flat when the U.S. is in possession. But what's allowing that to be okay is the fact that Torres and Donovan are finding such great space in the middle of the machine. There's so much traffic, and they're finding those little pockets, and Torres especially is doing a really good job of getting the ball off his feet quickly once he gets possession in those little triangles.
You've got Fabian Johnson, who's a threat on the left-hand side, and that I think the goal, I mean, Jeff Cameron scores the own goal. We'll get to the two American goals, but just to get the negative out of the way, Jeff Cameron scores the own goal. I think that is mostly on the left side of the American defense, and that goes to Fabian Johnson, because that is an uncontested cross into Kenny Miller, and that's all Scotland's got is crosses to Kenny Miller. They're just looking for his head, and Jeff Cameron gets slipped by Miller a little bit, not tight enough. Ball off of his chest, and he comes and he goes in the goal, and that's unfortunate. The good things far outweigh the bad things, and
ridiculously.
The first 15 minutes. I mean, they get two goals in the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes are maybe the best we've seen this team play since when? I mean, I have to go back. I mean, it's certainly not Gold Cup. It's not World Cup. It's not. It may be the Confederations Cup. They played a very, very good. It's a totally different style, but a very good first half against Brazil. They obviously played well against Spain, well enough to win. A lot of chances for Spain. That's a different thing now. Scotland's got maybe two chances, or is just a chance, and
they've actually put one of them away. But the possession, without a doubt, is one of the key things that I'm noticing different about the U.S. right now. And it's I'm going to give Landon Donovan a lot of credit too. I think Landon Donovan's doing a good job of both being inside and outside. He's keeping the Scottish defense guessing constantly, and his first touches away from pressure are ridiculous right now. But the guy this is not MLS Landon Donovan that's in there right now.
This is the best of Landon Donovan, and I was so impressed with his performance. It wasn't just the first touch, which obviously lets him create the space to do what he wants to do with the ball, but he was freezing guys. He put a perfect ball into Fabian Johnson. Absolutely perfect. I almost fell over. Johnson couldn't get it out of his feet to put it on frame, but
before the end of the half, he has the greatest little I'm gonna say it's like a basketball crossover, just to free himself up real quick for that little ball over the top to Boyd that he just couldn't get to. Landon Donovan, he's playing with confidence. This is the Landon Donovan that U.S. fans remember. It's too much to say he's back, but this is how he looked for Everton. This is how he used to look for the U.S. Is it an issue of motivation? Is it an issue of inspiration? I don't know what it is.
I'm sure it is, and he wants to impress Klinsmann now that he's back in this team and hasn't been in the Klinsmann setup yet. There's a lot of other guys to talk about. Again, 201-430-2378. If you have a best player, a guy you want to talk about, Michael Bradley's goal. Let's just go straight to Michael Bradley's goal. The whole setup of the thing, the take, the absolute brilliance of that shot. I don't know. This discussion came up on Twitter, Jared. What's a better USA goal? Name one. Feilhaber's volley against Mexico in the 2007 Gold Cup final.
That's similar types of goals.
No, yeah, but okay, but I think that that ball popped out off of a corner kick, and Feilhaber was just standing in the right place. This is movement. That's the thing that marks this team so far. I mean, they had the first 15 minutes. It was Are
you giving Jermaine Jones that much credit though? Do you think that was his intention to lay that ball off like that for Bradley?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. On that goal, yes, absolutely. I do think that that's what he intended.
Okay.
The movement is what marks this team right now, and this is what we continue to hear from Klinsmann, and we're looking to see every time out is not just the high pressure to get the ball back, but it's about movement as well. They are in attack. They are all over the place. This is as fluid as they've been ever, I think. And it's obviously serving them well. Now, let's not get way ahead of ourselves. It's Scotland and everything else, but you can only beat who's in front of you. This is exciting. I'm kind of just I mean, again, it's
just how confident is Michael Bradley? You can tell everything about how well he's doing at his club level with that strike of that ball. That guy doesn't even second guess it. I mean, he knows that he has the clout. He has the ability right now to hit that ball. It's one of the most confident takes I've ever seen an American do.
Yes, absolutely. And he's got some rumors swirling around him that he might leave Chievo and go to a bigger club, probably in Italy. I think
talking Roma.
Yeah, I think he's due for that. We got a phone call, area code 858. Who's this?
Hey, this is Carlos.
Hey, what's up, Carlos?
Hey, how you doing? I just wanted to see what you guys were thinking about that pack of four that kind of just congregates in the middle all the time with Edu, Torres, Jones, and Bradley kind of sitting on top of each other.
Jared brought this up. They are in attack. They're playing linear, and they are kind of a mob there. It's like Jared said, it's kind of working because Jose Torres is able to make it work. Maurice Edu was bad for me. He is kind of a turnover machine. I understand he can do some good defensive work, and he recovers the ball fairly well, and he can obviously make up for a lot with his speed. But he is a turnover machine, and he is not the type of midfielder who's looking to make every time he tried to make a forward pass, Jared, it was a bad choice. And so
it's a tough one with him, but I don't think you're looking for him to make too many of those. I think that's someone else's job, really. But I think he is probably going to be the biggest ball winner. That's more his job than the other two guys probably in the system. Sure. But if we're going to say if that mob before that he's talking about is going to be in place like that, and if that's going to work, the job of Landon Donovan, Steve Cherundolo, and Fabian Johnson is to give width. So as soon as that ball can be whipped out wide, everything can open back up, and they're doing that right now.
Yes, and Donovan is doing a fantastic job of giving that outlet, being that guy out wide that can release that pressure when they have that mob of four, Carlos.
As is Fabian Johnson on the left.
To a point, and Fabian Johnson being what he is in attack is hurting them a little bit on the defensive end, but will you take that? Are you okay with that?
Against Scotland, yeah.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I think so. I think Fabian Johnson getting forward like that is just fine. You need a dynamic guy to get up there. Torres isn't that guy out on the left.
Yep. All right, thanks for the phone call, Carlos. We're going to move along. Area code 619. Who's this? Who's this?
California.
Hello. Who do we got on the line?
Hello, how you doing?
What's up?
My question is, do you think he's going to make substitutions based on him saying that this is no more experimentations?
I think he'll follow what he would normally follow for a competitive match, right? I mean, I think he's due to get Terrence Boyd off the field at some point, Jared, just because Terrence Boyd is working his ass off. You can debate how effective he is, but he's certainly got oodles of talent, tons of talent, and he's working very, very hard. So he's going to have to get him off at some point. I don't know, depending on how the game is set, what do you think is the next?
I think you see Beckerman at some point for one of those guys, one of those three guys in the middle, just to try to get fresh legs in a position where you have to, if you're trying to seal a game up. I think Beckerman's a good choice for that. He's good on the ball, he moves the ball well, and he can be a ball winner. Outside of that, I think maybe at some point you do see Boyd come off the field. Maybe you give someone like Hercules Gomez in that's got a lot of speed, like someone that can be kind of a nuisance up front and can keep Scotland on their heels.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were coming. Yeah, and then also I think with Herculez Gomez, it's someone that you want to see anyway. You want to give him a look anyway in this system, and you want to see him what he can do with the national team. So I think it kind of kills two birds there when it comes to Herculez Gomez.
Yeah, and you don't really have, unless you want to throw Gooch in the mix, and maybe you do. I think that you could get Jeff Cameron off, and that would be okay. I mean, he's had a little bit of a rough go. I think he's acquitted himself well for the most part, but he seems a little awed by the stage, and he certainly has to recover from the own goal situation. But I think those are the obvious three. I don't know that he makes all three. He doesn't. I mean, sure.
I think maybe two on the night, but I do think that it's going to be Boyd in one of the middle back four. The only problem is not back four. Excuse me, central three. The only thing that outside of that is I think Gooch is the other obvious one. If for some reason you just want a different look, or if Jeff Cameron proves that he looks out of his depth in the second half, and I don't think he looks at that point right now. I think he's just a little uncomfortable, but I think that's something that will come in time.
The thing that Jeff Cameron gives you is, and I was watching for this, he wasn't picking the easy pass. He was making some kind of high risk, high reward passes, but they are very good for the most part. He's not 100%. He never will be. But as a midfielder / defender, he can obviously make passes out of the back that you aren't getting from anybody else. I think he probably even better than Tim Ream, who's good with the ball at his feet and comfortable with the ball at his feet, but is prone to a bad mistake and doesn't always make a good choice when he's trying to get the ball upfield. You got anything else for us?
Yeah, but basically what I'm trying to say is the fitness level. Only playing 90 minutes can you get that full fitness.
Sure.
Which is. But thank you very much, guys.
Sure.
Watching you guys.
Thanks for the call. In terms of fitness, I mean, most of these guys are either coming right off their seasons or are in season. I don't think fitness is an issue. I mean, maybe you want to give Herc a run out just to keep him kind of in the groove coming out of the end of his season.
Maybe Donovan, he did play midweek.
Sure.
Maybe. I apologize. He did not play midweek, but he played last weekend, been in camp all weekend. Most of the European guys have had about 2 weeks off or so. Donovan played just last weekend, and he's coming off a pretty straight. If anything, let's get Landon Donovan off while his confidence is high. This guy has been lost for months. I think it's great that he has a big high. Maybe you get him off, but if you bring him off, I don't know who's going to lead the attack. He's so intelligent up front.
He is so influential right now that I think if you pulled Landon Donovan off, you risk kind of the whole attack kind of falling apart. And I don't think you want to do that. You want to keep this train rolling as much as you can. I'm not really worried about Donovan's fitness. I mean, I don't think that's an issue necessarily.
The issue with Landon right now is head games, and that's kind of what it's always been with Landon Donovan, right? It's never really been about fitness. For him, he's always been able to take himself out of the game at times.
There's not really an obvious guy to stick in there. I mean, if you want to go with two up top, you could
go to a two up top. Yeah,
you could do that with Gomez, but then are you leaving Boyd on, and maybe this is a little too much for him? I don't know. Getting kind of. Different opinions on Boyd, Jared. I thought he was fine. I mean, maybe I'm not expecting much out of him, but I got people on Twitter telling me he wasn't that good. I'm not gonna. There's nothing to complain about for me.
I don't think they were playing a style of game necessarily that brings him into it too much. It was a lot of midfield touches. I think a few times he did make a couple of good touches to free up space for himself. It's not a lot of service from the wings into the box. Like you would probably do for Josie Altidore to try to win balls, head balls for goal. I don't think he's had a lot of that. It's been a lot of on the ground midfield doing their job, looking for through balls to release. And I don't know necessarily that brings Boyd's game into this.
Yeah, our boy. Nutmeg Radio, Mariti Morongi on Twitter said, if the U.S. is going to play like this, it might not matter as much who plays up top as people think. It just might not. Okay, you want if you're going to play like this, you want a big, strong forward who can hold the ball up, who can get on the end of a cross if need be. I think that right now Terrence Boyd is Josie Altidore light. Yeah. One day he'll be on his own, he'll be the guy. But right now, he's Josie Altidore light. All right, I think that's going to do it. They're getting ready to kick off. Thanks for listening to the Halftime Show, guys. Come back right after the game. Do a 30-minute wrap-up post-game deal. And NASN.TV. Anything else, Jared?
Call us on the post-game. Give us a call on the post-game.
Yeah, call us maybe.